Oh, good, good. Can't wait for my favorite parts coming up, the panel. So, looking forward to that.
So what can you tease about the next season?
How much money you got?
A lot.
All right, now I'll give you all the secrets now. In the second season, it's a little bit more the family drama, like literally with the Michaelsons, with Michael being back, and we get to see Marcel rebuild his little vampire community, and they've been exiled out across the river. And it's going to be, for Marcel, I think for the other characters, it's going to be a lot more character, relationship driven. We really get to see, like the way I talked to the writers as an analogy was like, first season was like Game of Thrones. We approached it like Game of Thrones. And then he told me about second season, and I go, oh, it's more like Orange is the New Black. You know, it's like, it's about the characters and how they interact and what's going on with them as individuals. So I think season 2, you're going to see it's going to be like Emmy-nominated Orange is the New Black.
Is that more fun for you to play, being a more character-driven season?
I don't know. I think in my previous experience, like with shows on like Switched at Birth and Grey's, we really worked like triangles. Like Switched at Birth, it was a lot of Liam, Bay, Daphne, and in Grey's it was Joe, Karev, and Jason Myers. And I think this one, I think we're going to finally see those like triangular relationships a little bit more. Maybe it'll be like Marcel, Josh, and Elijah, and and then on the other end you might see like Elijah, Haley, and maybe Klaus, or maybe a different character. And so you're going to really get to work through the show through those sort of character triangles. I did a lot last season, as far as the character. I think I would like to just sit in a pocket, sit in a pocket and like really work it. I really like the characters like that I admire in other shows, where you get to see them really develop, and you really get to see them, you really get to know them as this one character, one side, and then all of a sudden you realize they've been plotting something all along. And I like that. I think it's pretty brilliant. And I think that's what we're headed towards, because Marcel's been exiled. And so he doesn't have the freedom that he did before, where I think he's going to need to tighten up a little bit. Yeah.
Is he going to be able to reason his way back then?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think so. But I think it's going to have to be in a very patient and deliberate manner. It's not going to be so like smash and grab, I think, like we saw in the first season, like shock and awe kind of thing.
Could it attribute to Mystic Falls in the cards?
For Marcel, I don't know. That's actually a good question. I think he's going to need help from other vampires at some point. So what other way than recruit from Mystic Falls? So it's a possibility, yeah.
How much do you get to actually put in about your character? Has Julie taken suggestions from you about specific aspects of them?
Yeah, they're always open. I sent an email, and not only Julie, but also Mike Narducci, another writer and exec, they implemented pretty much everything that I had proposed. As far as like what kind of books does Marcel read? Sure enough, there's like a quote from like Sun Tzu, like The Art of War, in the next speech. And yeah, I wanted to have him be like a little bit more like militant. And I think in season 2 you see like that side where he's recruiting, and yeah, they really do listen.
So what's having you fan reaction on Twitter and stuff like that? Do you pay attention to it? Is it something that affects you at all?
During the season, I'll look at Twitter a lot more. In the off season, not as much. And occasionally I'll remember that there are message boards on IMDb, and I dare to click on them and read. But it doesn't affect it too much. One, because in our world, in our universe, the writers are God, in a sense where we're just puppets acting out that play. So it's more about if Julie and Narducci read our message boards, But for me, the only thing you can do is either raise or lower my self-esteem. Um, I try not to put my opinion of myself or my work or my craft into anyone else than myself or those who are sort of in it with me. But as far as the response goes, the fans have been great, and that's the thing is Twitter's only a small window and sliver of it. We did fan conventions in Paris and Rome, and I even went on vacation to Greece, and people would come up to me on the streets and they'd like hug me. They'd be so excited. They say, when you see Joe, send this message back. Tell him that Klaus is pure evil. And the way they say it, you're like, oh, like you guys really dig this stuff. And in Rome, the fans just wanted me to like go, I'm the king. And I'm like, oh, you guys like the aggressive stuff. Like, yeah, they're like, yeah, we like a man that's like aggressive. I'm like, get a nice guy. So those aren't things that come across in 140 characters on Twitter, So I can't put too much thought into what only a small group post or tweet and what it is,
What are your favorite TV shows right now?
I just got done watching Orange is the New Black, second season. Yeah, it's great. Game of Thrones was awesome. Let's see. What else? Walking Dead. I was finishing up Walking Dead. And then I hear Fargo is really great. I'm going to check that out next, I think. Yeah.
How long did it take to watch
Around 2 weeks, I think. Because I ended up going on vacation and traveling, so I was away from my Netflix. Yeah. Oh, good question. Oh my God, Daniela, Sophie, dying. Because no, I mean that's the thing. No, yeah, Sophie. When she died, I think episode 13 or 14. That was a big surprise because Daniela was a part of the auditioning process and casting. Like when I was there, we tested at the same time, and so I was under the impression that I was a fool. Yeah, that we would all be together. But yeah, some characters don't make it, and so that was a surprise. Yeah.
Do you like doing the flashback episodes? Gets the different costumes and a whole different vibe to it? Or?
Yeah, it changes things up. Yeah, it really does. Yeah, and I get to put on the wigs and the hair. And so I love it. And I love it even more now because our hairstylist got nominated for an Emmy. So she works really hard. And she's got wigs. She's got wigs for days. And so, yeah, it paid off. I'm really happy about that. Yeah. That's it. All right.
Were you shocked when season 2 was renewed? What was your reaction? Did you know that it was coming? Did you know you guys would get renewed? Did you expect them to bring you back?
Definitely expected it. We were in contact with with Mark Pedowitz, throughout the year. It was just a surprise at the timing, how early it was. Yeah, which we needed to know because Daniel is on another show. So we need to fix our schedule, and we can't if we're waiting for a late pickup. Like we didn't have time for all the suspense and all. So it was just a surprise at how early it was. After we made it past the first season, we kind of figured we'd probably have like seven seasons, I think so. Yeah, I always have wanted to do at least three or four, to make it that far. I think that's a good run,
You won't get tired of playing it?
Ask me in 4 seasons.